just to take off on what you said, because through the years, you know, they've many times, a lot of different fields have tried to figure out how to get hypnosis to be part of their, you know, oversight. And a few times, you know, psychology maybe wanted to bring it into their fold. And I just, ever since I've been doing this, I said, I hope it never gets regulated like these licensed industries.
Because the licensed industry just gets stuck.
Yeah, and it's inhibiting. And you know, the name of my company is Unlimited Possibilities. And as soon as you start getting a lot of bureaucracy overseeing what you do, it becomes limited just by the nature of being regulated and being, you know, controlled and all that. And that's just against my nature. It's just against my nature. So we'll give everybody a minute or two. This is only an hour-long webinar, but I do like to find out who's here and gear it a little bit to the audience, to who's here, so that everybody can walk away with something valuable and useful and interesting and all of that. Hello, Isaac. Do I know you? You look familiar. Oh, you're kind of in the dark, but I can see you a little.
Yeah, no, that's actually my first time coming to a hypnotherapy meeting, so I'm not too familiar with it.
Fabulous. I'm gonna go ahead and start. As people come in, they can just kind of figure out what we're doing, because like I said, this hour goes really fast. But I do want everyone to introduce yourself and say where you are, because some people aren't, you know, in Florida even. I'm in Palm Harbor, Florida, and I've been here for almost about 20 years now. But I do like to kind of find out if you are a hypnotist or a hypnotherapist or some other type of licensed or therapist or something. And just real quickly, like 30 seconds or so, just let me know your name, where you are, and what brought you here, and what's your interest in all of this. And since Rachel was the first one on with your beautiful blouse, that I want to find out where you bought that. You can go ahead and go first.
Okay, I'm Rachel. I'm in South Tampa. I've been here since the summer of 2020. I'm a retired Marine. I am not a certified hypno anything, but I listened to Richard Bandler's Personal Enhancement series back in like 1996, whenever I was first in the Marines. And
you should get a certificate just for that. Listening to him.
So it's definitely piqued my interest over the years, the ability to change behavior, you know, things of that nature. So I'm just curious primarily. I want to see, I don't know, what the possibilities are.
Sounds good. And like I said, curiosity is the best starting point for all of this, isn't it? For life in general, actually. So welcome, Rachel. I'm really happy to meet you for the first time here on Zoom. And later, I'm going to tell you about something that you might be interested in later on. How about Daniel? How about you go next?
All right. Well, my name's Dan Matz. I live kind of halfway between Tampa and what's that other place down there? I don't know. I've only lived in Florida about 3 months. So
you've only been here 3 months, you said?
Yeah. But
from where?
I moved here from Texas.
Ah.
Which that's another story. But anyway, but I just started a new venture in financial services, and people have recommended, go look on Meetup and find groups, things that interest you. And sleep is definitely an issue for me. So when you said that this would help with sleep, I thought, well, that's interesting. And I'm always interested to learn more about, your subconscious mind and how that all works.
Well, good, because you just already answered one of the other questions I was going to ask. So thank you, and nice to meet you. And I'm glad you're in the area here too. Diane. Okay. Try to get some energy going, and see if you can tell us about yourself.
Well, I found Patty a while ago, and I have loved her programs and becoming a certified hypnotherapist ever since. It has been more fun than the many decades I spent as a dietitian. And I am here today mainly because You know how everybody gained weight during the year of COVID and you just ate because you were like stress kittens? Well, after all of that, I went on a very stringent intermittent fasting diet pattern because that was what worked. And I did lose about 14 pounds. I'm down to what is my normal weight again, but my sleep is screwed up. So I need a tune-up.
Very good. I like that word tune-up. Yeah. Well, I like the word up too, obviously, but it's, you know, my company name is Up, but it's a mantra for me. So good. Well, so we'll all get a tune-up tonight in one way or another. Very good. Good to see you, gal. Okay, yeah. Judy.
Okay. I'm from New Jersey, and I took Patty's medical class last year, and I didn't sleep for years, and one of the girls in the class hypnotized me. Been sleeping ever since. No problems. Go to bed, wake up. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I hadn't slept in about 3 years.
Wow, that's I thought that was impossible not to sleep for 3 years.
Yeah. So
that's pretty extreme.
Yeah. So I've been doing hypnosis for many, many years. So
very good. How about you, Isaac?
Right. I'm from Arlington, Texas. I moved here from California. And what really caught my interest with hypnotherapy is to help me with sleep. I have a lot of insomnia and then also anxiety. So I'm hoping that, you know, this works. I just want to get information first and then find a good hypnotherapist.
Absolutely. So you're not a hypnotist, but you have heard that it can help with these kind of things, and that got your curiosity. Very good. And you heard about us through what, Meetup, you said?
Through Meetup, yep.
Through Meetup. Perfect. Okay, welcome. Diana.
Hello.
We're just saying who we are, where we're from, if you're a hypnotist or not, and what brings you here.
I am, and I'm actually in your area. I'm in close to Indian Shores, Florida.
Oh, wonderful.
So St. Pete area, and
do you mind giving me your last name, or you don't have to?
Davis.
What is it?
Davis.
Davis. D-A-V-I-S.
Yes. Yes. And
Thank you.
Heard about you from another person who is on this call. So that's how I learned about you. And yes, I'm a hypnotherapist. I've been practicing here, you know, and I got into this. I guess we all had issues, and I had a bunch of them myself. And, you know, finding out how effective hypnotherapy is, and just fascinated with mind, brain, neuroplasticity, and all that good stuff. So.
All good stuff. And I think a lot of us, if not most of us, get into this because we're learning to do it, and we do things for ourselves, and we find out how powerful it is. And once you start doing it, it's like, you know, a good kind of infectious, you know, addiction. You know, you just can't get enough. I've been doing it 30 years professionally and studying it 20 before that. And I still feel like I'm just getting started figuring all this out. And there's so many new things all the time, you know, that they're discovering about the mind and the body and the emotions and how they all interact. So it's a fascinating field. I can't imagine ever getting tired of it. It's just just fascinating. So nice to meet you, and I'm glad you're in this area too. Did you say Indian Shores? Is that what it's called? Where you are?
Indian Shores. So like Seminole area.
Seminole area. Okay.
Basically, St. Pete by the beach, on the beach side.
Very nice. Oh, good. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And how about you, Richard? Can we get your last name, or would you rather not?
Richard Curry.
Curry, like C-U...
C-O-U-R-Y.
Oh, U-R-Y?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you.
I took hypnotist class before. I became very friendly with the guy. And then I took silver method learning also. But I can't sleep at night. I'm stressed out a lot. And this is going on. Even when I was a kid, I had problems sleeping.
Yeah. So you've had this going on a long time.
Yes.
So did Silva or hypnosis didn't bring you any kind of answers or relief or anything?
They was just keep getting stressed out. Just kept getting stressed out.
Got it.
I deal with rental properties, and No, it's just a lot. I'm dyslexic, so using a computer is really hard because the B's and D's looks the same. I mean, I was a electrician, was a foreman on elevators. I had a business in Vegas. I buy and sell property. But no, when you get to, I could open up a computer and change the motherboard out. And
Wow.
on some of the old computers, now they're making them harder even to get into.
Yeah.
So, but using a computer, I'm totally lost, and the spelling is terrible. You know, when I try to spell, so that caused a lot of anxiety, depression. That's it. Because I had a hard time even coming to your space. I don't know how long you were on. I mean, no, when I got onto the computer.
Just now on this tonight, you mean?
Here.
Oh, we just got started. Yeah, we're just getting started. I waited a few minutes before everybody got me. So did you say you are trained in hypnosis? Did I hear that, or did I hear wrong?
No, I went for class for it. I mean,
okay.
I'm not trained in hypnosis or anything like that.
Okay.
But no, you need to practice, keep up with it, and I've just faded away.
Yeah.
So I came here to see what this is all about.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, Jenny, you want to go next?
Hey, well, Patricia, I met you at the Hypnosis Education Association meeting when you spoke, and I loved everything that you said. So Diana and I'm responsible for bringing Diana in here tonight. We trained together as hypnotherapists. So
very nice.
And if I'm honest, I'm having some trouble getting to sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
I do use some of the sleep hypnosis tracks, but I was really interested in what you have to say. So this
wonderful.
Group. And
actually, I'm planning to take you all through a process if hopefully there's time, because I think that's the most helpful after we talk for a while.
Yep.
I like to have experiential. There's nothing like experiencing something different and new, because there's always new and different things. That's why I said it never gets old. And Candy, I can't see you, but are you on? Would you like to introduce yourself? I see your name.
Hello, I'm close to Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs.
Wow.
And I'm not a trained hypnotist, but I have taken one of your classes with some of your students. So I enjoyed that.
Oh, your name looked familiar when I saw it. Okay. So are you having any issues with sleep? Is that something that interests you specifically for that, or just here because you're interested in general in hypnosis?
No, I struggle with sleep. I have a crazy sleep pattern. It just seems to be all over the board, and sleeping through the night is an issue.
Got it. Very good. Okay, well, thank you and welcome all of you. We may have some latecomers come on. I'll try to watch and let them in, but they'll just have to catch up when they get here. So I'm glad there's a lot of people local here for this one. I'm kind of glad to, because I love meeting other hypnotists. I'm the type of person I want to know everybody that's doing everything, especially if they're in this realm of hypnosis, because we're all different. We all have different approaches, and I think we can all learn from each other, whatever we do. And electrical engineer, I think Richard said he is. I married one of those. So talk about opposites. Did you say you were an engineer? Yeah. Yeah.
No, electrician.
Electrician. Okay. I heard the electric part. I jumped off on that. But, there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways that we all look at the world and ways that we hear things. And like Richard was saying, if you do something just one time and you try it, we all know about that word try, and then if you don't do it anymore or very often, it's probably not going to get embedded and you're not going to really get a whole lot out of it. It's kind of like I say, going to the gym, once, and then you go again a month or two later, and then you go again a few months later. And it's probably not going to have great or lasting results at that point. So if someone is really interested in forming new sleep patterns, because I guarantee you didn't come out of the womb with the sleep patterns you have right now. Would everybody agree with that? Yes? Does that sound logical? Because here's the thing about hypnosis. Hypnosis deals with what I call it the unconscious. It's just the word that I use. I started out saying subconscious, and my habit changed through the years. But I talk about conscious for purposes of training in these classes. Conscious is just what you're aware of right now. You're here, you're in this, little webinar, you're noticing a few little bits of whatever's going on at any given moment, but there's so much more going on. And your unconscious, I call the unconscious mind everything else that's outside of your awareness. And it's taking in so much more from that broader field and all your senses and everything. So whatever you get from tonight is going to be a tiny bit of it is going to be what you consciously know and remember. And what your unconscious mind knows about each of you here, that's the expert on your particular experiences and your particular needs and what's right for you. It's going to be picking up on, it's like radar. I think of it back there like radar. It came here for a purpose that you logically decided be a good idea to be here, but it knows every other thing that may be possible for you to get some benefit from that we're going to be doing tonight. So that will tend to continue to ripple and incubate, if you will, in the coming hours and days and even into the next week or two. And if you keep an intention, a goal, a desire at the forefront of your mind for the next, let's say, few weeks, I like to do 6-week projects for something that's truly problematic, because it doesn't mean that it takes that long to resolve or to get new programming going or new habits. But I think it's a good idea to take a chunk that's a 6-week chunk out of your life and just make that the priority. So if those of you that did mention you have some sleep things that you'd like to improve, your sleep patterns, to make it a little mini project. Doesn't mean you can't have everything else going on in your life, because these days there's a lot of input through all of our senses. Everybody, whether you're retired like Diane, I'll bet you don't sit around the house all day watching TV, because I know you. We've got a lot of stuff going on, right?
I'm so crazy busy, it's crazy.
I know. I knew you would be. And, we have and every phase of life, there's different challenges, right? And especially the last couple of years, we've all shared in some unique challenges that none of us really had to deal with before, no matter where you live, no matter what country even you're in. There's something different that's been going on that's added another layer of discomfort as far as being outside of our comfort zone of our normal routine, whatever that had been before all that started. So there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress in the world. And I have a theory that I came up with many, many decades ago now, that every issue, every challenge, every problem, every even physical ailment has a big element, if not most or all in some cases, that it's about stress. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. And most of us know, by the way, your conscious mind, if you have had any kind of sleep issues, or if you're a hypnotist that's worked with it with other people, we know the logical things consciously, that those little tips and things that you can find nowadays on the internet all over, and they're the same things I was reading in books before the internet. They're pretty much the same tips about how to get a good night's sleep, and you all can find those on your own. But that's not what you're here for, hopefully, because we're here about our unconscious part of our mind. The logical stuff we can all do on our own. Like I said, with the internet, we can find so much. It's just unlimited what we can find. So right before I get into this just a little bit more for your unconscious mind, just wanted to pique your interest there. I just want to tell you a little bit about I do these the third Wednesday each month, unless something unusual is happening. And I would have that posted if you came from Meetup. I really make an effort to make sure to remember to put it on Meetup. I don't always succeed, but I'm getting better at it all the time. And but usually it's the third Wednesday of each month, and it's the same time as this. And it's a different topic every month. So next month I'm planning to do When Sadness Turns to Depression. So if anybody's interested in that or knows someone that could benefit from that. It is not designed for hypnotists, although a lot of hypnotists come to this, because it is any of my trainings or seminars or webinars can be used for CEUs, because I'm a trainer for the International Association of Counselors and Therapists, and I'm also a certified school through the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association, and I created a medical hypnotherapy specialty training program for them that was approved a few years ago. So, and I'm hoping to expand on that in the future. That is my love. I love working with medical issues, because it's still, it's going to be stress, and it's going to be a lot of the same issues, but we teach people how to address those things directly. And by the way, if somebody truly had sleep apnea or a true diagnosed or diagnosable sleep disease or challenge, you know, insomnia even kind of edges towards sounding like something that a hypnotherapist like myself, I'm not a licensed anything. I am certified in everything imaginable besides being licensed. I always get a doctor's referral. So we talk about scope of practice in our training programs, but that's not as important here, except for you to know if you come to a hypnotherapist and you do have a sleep issue that is a diagnosis that you're working with a doctor on, the hypnotist better darn well ask you for a medical referral before they do any work with you, because that is what the law says in Florida and pretty much everywhere I've ever heard of. So, and I just think it's a good idea anyway, right, Dan? Scope of practice, important stuff. So I do want to mention also these, this third Wednesday is also considered a chapter meeting. We don't really have a meeting or anything, so don't, you know, we're not going to like call it to order and all that, but it is considered a chapter meeting for the International Association of Counselors and Therapists. There's chapters all over the world. Michael Watson has a virtual chapter that, well, I guess that's what this is too, frankly, but he has what's called a virtual chapter on Facebook that he runs every month as well. And that's for members of IACT, but also I believe it's open to anyone who's interested. But it is a chapter meeting for them. And also it is a chapter meeting for the group that Jenny mentioned, the Hypnosis Education Association, which is a Florida-based not-for-profit hypnosis organization. I just got voted in as president again, so I'm president. Thank you, Madam President. Yes. So this year, I just want to mention, since a lot of you are in the Florida area, in the Tampa and St. Pete area, that April 23rd, Saturday, we're doing a one-day conference at the Marriott in Oldsmar. And I've got 6 presenters. Usually we have 4, maybe 5 on the one day. I got 6 presentations. So if you're anywhere in the area, guess what? The first time you come this year, because we had to do so much on Zoom, we didn't have a lot of expenses the last couple of years. This is going to be the first one we've done live in a while. It's only $5 for you to come the first time. And if you have gone in the past and haven't been there in about 5 years or more, it's $5. It's a small group, but it's so friendly. It is. I learned so much. Diane, you've been there. You even presented, I believe, at those. We got to get you back for maybe November. And November will be in Orlando, though. That's our big one. It's our 2-day conference. But if you want to come, it's one day. Marriott, the website is heahypnosis.com. And I will put it, when I put this out on YouTube in a week or so after I edit it, or a few days, I will put all of that on the video, but just for you now to know. So let's talk about sleep. Who in here has any problems with sleep right now in their life? Raise your hand. Yeah, a couple of people didn't raise their hand. I'm one of the ones that didn't, because, you know, I used to be in show business. So one of the things I learned about hypnosis, I was in show business for 20 years before I got certified as a hypnotherapist. And now I've been doing that 30 years. So now you know how old I am. But for 20 years, I was studying NLP and hypnosis. And one thing I found out is, you know, when you're in show business, a lot of times especially if you're doing theater, there's a lot of parties going on late at night. And if you have to rehearse it, you know, in the morning and you have to get some sleep, the atmosphere doesn't always cooperate with you. And maybe for you all, when you need to get sleep or a nap or just get to sleep your regular time, maybe the atmosphere doesn't cooperate. Your environment may not cooperate with you, right? If any of you have pets, the time change just happened, right? Our cats still think it's, you know, the old time. When you're in show business, you got to learn to sleep. And I remembered I created a mantra. I want to talk about creating a mantra and an intention that is powerful for your unconscious mind to understand what you're asking it to do. Because your unconscious mind is always waiting right now. And guess what? Every moment is right now. And that's the only time you can actually do something. So if your mantra is, I'm going to get better at falling asleep, then your unconscious doesn't have to do a darn thing, because going to is out in the future somewhere, and it's going to just keep doing what it's already been trained to do up to now. And a lot of the things that our unconscious was trained to do wasn't something we would intentionally train it to do. It might have been trained in, when we were little kids, some of that stuff. So your unconscious is waiting for you to tell it with very specific language, which is what hypnotists are trained in. And that's what I am always aspiring to be better at, finessing the language for the unconscious mind, so it really gets what I'm asking it for. But what I did when I was in show business is I started saying, I remember just from whatever I was reading about all this, and I started saying, I can sleep on a rock. I can sleep anytime, anywhere. I can sleep on a rock. So, and I started saying that, and it was kind of funny, but no matter how loud the party got next door, in the next room when we were doing theater or something, I could, if I knew I wanted to fall asleep, I could fall asleep. And I also used hypnosis recordings. I used actually some subliminal recordings, which hypnotists laugh at me when I tell them that. But you know what? They say, well, those don't work. If you can't hear it, it ain't there. And I said, but you know what? My unconscious was listening when I put it in the cassette player in those days, in the 70s and 80s. And I would hit play, and I read the label, and it said, this is going to make me more confident, or make my memory better or something, or, help me with keeping my weight under control or whatever it was. And my mind already knew the intention of putting that in the cassette player. And then there was this nice music, that put me to sleep. And I thought it was going to help me with that. So guess what happened?
Belief is incredible.
What?
Belief is incredible.
Yeah, it really worked. So intention is very powerful. So I recommend, if you have some sleep things going on, to create, and to do this for your clients if you aren't already doing it, to have them create a 6-week project. I tell them, approach it like it's an interesting, fascinating project. And the reason I do that is because I say, the conscious mind knows certain things it can do reasonably. Like I said, you can look them all up. Things like, not watching the news right before you go to bed, or thinking of something that's bothering you before you go to sleep, not eating a meal, within a couple hours of bed, all those, common sense things. And I've got a handout that I will send all of you if you want to email me. I've got 2 handouts actually that has some of those things on it. Most of them, most adults already know about, but it's nice to be reminded of some of those things. And some of them I said, oh yeah, I forgot that actually does help. So the common sense things, but then the unconscious mind, it's listening to your thoughts. It's listening to your mantras. When people say, well, I don't really believe in those, affirmations and stuff. And when I have clients that say that, I listen to them very carefully, and I just start repeating back to them all of the affirmations they've been telling me, like, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. If I wake up, I can never get back to sleep. That is an affirmation. It's also a post-hypnotic suggestion in the world of hypnosis. And if you repeat something over and over and over again, that's one way. It's the slow way, but it's one way to get hypnotized, is through repetition, right? But if you keep saying something, if you're doing a self-description, we talk about your beliefs start being formed. And if it's a belief about who you are and how you behave in certain situations, and you keep repeating it over and over and over again, and it is something you don't want, one thing hypnosis can be really good at is getting you to be more aware when you say those things and think those things. Because if you're not aware that you're doing it or saying it in your head or saying it out loud to people, you can't change something if you're not aware that it needs to be changed. So hypnosis can allow you to actually get more self-aware, so that, yeah, I do say that a lot. I say, I really have a hard time sleeping. Let's say that's a mantra you say to your friends whenever the sleep topic comes up. That's your mantra. And by the way, it's a belief because it has history and proof that it's true. We have beliefs because we think they're facts, and they usually are. But if it's something you're working on changing, or if it's something you don't want to have happen anymore, you have to start changing that. Now, the old style of affirmations was, I sleep great, and I picture your unconscious back there laughing, falling down laughing and saying, No, you don't. Who are you trying to kid? Because there's a thing about congruence, right? And maybe people that repeated that every day 1,000 times, maybe they did start sleeping better. I don't know. Maybe they started sleeping great. I think it's really working against yourself and doing it the hard way. But a good way to do it is, I am now in the process. I am is still the most powerful statement you can make. I'm now in the process of relearning how to go to sleep when I need rest, how to sleep peacefully through the night. And if should I wake up for whatever reason that I'm learning again, I'm remembering how to have the ability to let that go and go right back to sleep. So you can start creating mantras, and I call it hitting pause. I have a thing I call pivotal response conditioning. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Made that up for my dissertation. But it's basically that you start being more self-aware, and then you hear yourself say out loud to someone, or you hear that thought come in your head, you know, I just can't sleep. I just can't sleep, or whatever yours is. And as soon as you tell yourself to become aware of it, by the way, be careful what you ask for, because your mind really knows you do need that sleep. And since your unconscious mind runs your body, it's going to really start allowing you to notice it. And you're going to be amazed at how often you say things that are counter to what you say you want. And it's like you're hypnotized. It isn't like, you literally are hypnotizing yourself to keep that happening when you're doing that. Because again, one way to hypnotize is through repetition. And if it's already a belief and you keep reinforcing that belief, guess what's going to happen? Your mind is never going to take any other things that you're trying to do, because it's already got this great program you taught it. And it doesn't have any choice except to run that program until you give it, with the right language, a new direction. And like I said, those old habits kind of, you know, they can be pretty persistent. So you want to start hitting pause. I call it just hitting pause. Now, actually, psychology has kind of taken off on some of these things that neurolinguistics and hypnosis has been doing for decades. And they have a thing now called mindfulness. It's been a while now, but they had I remember back when they had this new thing called mindfulness, and I did a lot of research on it because I love to research stuff. And I said, oh, it's like the first step. It's like this big thing to them, but it's something we've done in hypnosis and neurolinguistics, NLP, forever. It's called being aware, hitting pause, you know, getting your power back, I call it. I do it with a breath, and I press my fingers and thumbs together. It's instant. And I snap back into here, everything clears. And then I heard what I just thought or said, and I shift it. I reframe it. I change it to what I want the new program to be. And you'll be amazed if you trust it. Like I said, make it a little project and have fun with it, and keep the logical mind judgment part of it postponed for about 6 weeks as much as possible. I call it a contract between your logical mind and your conscious mind and your imagination, which is your unconscious, right? And that's where all the power is. Imagination is much more powerful than logic, trust me. Because, you know, if somebody imagines they're in danger, their body's going to react exactly as if they really were in danger. So it's going to respond to your imagination beyond logic. So I know I'm talking fast, but that's what I do. I'm from the Midwest. And your unconscious mind is keeping up with anything that makes sense to you or that will help. So find a way to hit pause and ask your mind. You know, it's funny, but we forget sometimes that we can just ask ourselves, our inner mind, our higher consciousness, whatever words you have, subconscious, unconscious, whatever word you want for it. It's just a word somebody put on it. But we can ask ourselves inside to make us more aware whenever we're thinking or saying something that's counter to our best interests. And when it comes to sleep, if that's the project. And it'll start letting you know, and then you can hit pause and say, what do I want to replace that with? Instead of I can't sleep, you know, every time I wake up at night, I can't go back to sleep. And that's not working for me. So I'm going to replace that with, if anything should wake me up at night for whatever reason, I find it's getting easier and easier just to lay right back down, close my eyes, and drift right back off to sleep. And it might not happen the first time or the second time, but it'll start getting, if you keep saying it, your mind loves that idea, first of all, because it's healthy. And it'll start making it very quickly easier and easier and easier. So trust yourself and ask yourself questions. Ask for help from your inner consciousness, your higher intelligence that's inside of you that knows what's good for you and always wants you to be as healthy as you can be. So sleep is necessary. We all know that. Now, in all the literature and all, even the handout I sent you, it says try to go to bed at it uses the word try a lot. I know that's the first thing that stuck out to me, keep trying, but it said, try to go to bed at the same time, and get up at the same time every day. That has never been my life, and it never will be my life. And actually, I'm happy with it not being my life. A regular schedule I've had between my careers. I did have some corporate jobs where I had to do that, and I did it very well because I was using hypnosis. And I decided I really enjoy sleeping when I'm tired, if I have that luxury. If I know I have certain things to do at different times the next day, I can take a nap, or I can get to sleep when I need to and get up no matter what time, even if it's different than the way I did it all last week. So limiting, I'm not big on limiting ideas. So if somebody says you need to do this or you should do that or something, I'm probably going to have a little part of me that says, well, that might be ideal if that's the way your life is designed and that works well for your life. But in my life, that particular thing doesn't work. So I decided it wasn't one of those hard and fast rules that was going to keep me from sleeping well, because I have proved that I still sleep great with a varied schedule. So you want to be careful with taking people's advice, because, their advice might be good for you, or it may not be the best advice for you. So I say, ask yourself, ask your inner self, what's right for me? What would be the best way for me to achieve getting the rest I need to keep my body healthy, to keep my mind clear, to keep my energy at a good level, to keep my emotions balanced, because that inner mind, and if all you have to be is in a very light state. One of the handouts I'm going to give you, I found this really cool article that I hadn't seen before. That's why I like doing research for these things. And it was from the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, which was right up the street from where I lived in San Fernando Valley in California when I decided to actually get formally trained in hypnosis. And I didn't know I was getting out of show business yet. I didn't know I was going to have a career in hypnosis yet, but they were right up the street. So I found this article by a guy who evidently is from that institute. And it was a really cool article on insomnia. And he talks about the stages of going to sleep. And I knew this already, but it was really cool the way he wrote it. So if you'd like that, I'll also send you that article. He talks about you go through the hypnoidal state. I love that word, hypnoidal. It sounds funny, doesn't it? It's just a funny word. Anyway, it's a real word. And as you go to sleep, the second stage is to go through the hypnoidal state. It's literally called that because in that state, you're very suggestible. You're not asleep yet where you don't hear the phone ringing. You can't think, oh, do I really want to get up and answer the phone? You're kind of in that in between. You're getting a little bit, dazed, but you're still there. And that's one of the stages. At that stage, when you go to sleep, or before you go to sleep, that's a great place for you to do some mantras. So I'm going to have you all, I want this to be experiential. So if you would like to, you don't have to do anything here except, have fun. So if you would like to close your eyes and think of, and this is one of the recommendations, even from the non-hypnotic places that recommend doing things for sleep, is think of a place where you have been maybe often, or maybe someplace you just went one time, or maybe you even just saw a place in a movie or in a photograph. Someplace where you can imagine yourself being. If you were actually there, it's probably easier to imagine it, but it's up to you. A place where you felt completely comfortable, where you felt completely peaceful. A place where, as you think about it with your eyes closed, you can feel safe and a little bit quieter, comfortable, peaceful, relaxed. I'm saying a lot of words that mean different things to different people. And incorporate as much as possible all of your senses. Notice if you can imagine, and some people see pictures, some people don't. Some people just get a sense or an idea about something. So however your imagination works is just fine. Don't strive to make it something. Just let it be whatever it is when you think of a place that has those attributes that I said: peaceful, safe, quiet, comfortable, pleasant. And let yourself just be there in whatever way your imagination works. Doesn't really take effort. Just be there and be there more. And let the rest of the world and all of this other stuff out here just get farther away so that you can really imagine being there. And as you're there, ask yourself, what is it about this place that I like? What is it about this place that makes it so nice to be here? And allow your mind to come up with one word that can be appropriate for you to describe how you feel in this place. And trust your mind to give you the word. May not be the one that you expected, so be open, expand your mind to be there fully, and let yourself receive that word now. And whether you have received your word yet, or whether it will be coming in a little while, if you haven't yet received it, you can trust that. Go ahead and open your eyes and come back out here with me. And if you have a word that came to you or that you'd like to call that place, you can just assign it a word. That's okay too, that you want to just call it that. Who here has a word? Somebody have a word to represent that, how it feels there yet? Ooh, okay. Anybody not? Let's put it that way. Diane, do you have a word? You guys don't need to be muted, you know, unless you got dogs barking or something.
I might have trains.
Trains can put you to sleep too. You know?
I know, sometimes.
Yeah.
Safe.
Safe.
It was almost like a cocoon. I couldn't decide between safe or
yeah. And you know, I mean, you can always change it later, but you know, it's a good word if when you think it or you say it, it just feels good, you know, just go with that. And like I said, it may find a different or a better word or a different word later, and that's fine. But I wanted you to have something. If you don't have a word yet, just assign it a word, come up with something, a word that to you represents feeling that nice in a place that has those attributes. Okay. Everybody got a word? Because we're going to use that when I do this process in a little bit. I also have a relaxation CD recording, excuse me, CDs. We don't have CDs anymore. We have MP3s now. I have a stress, it's called Recycle Stress into Positive Energy. And I made it many years ago. And I have people all the time through the years tell me that it puts them to sleep. So I thought that's a good one. Yeah. Even though I count you up at the end, most people, if they play it and fall asleep to it, they just keep sleeping. I said, well, good. Now you know what to do. If you can't sleep, you can play my recording. And if you want to get up, wake up at the end, you can just tell yourself before you start that time, say, this time when I listen to this recording, or if you want to fall asleep rather, you can say, this time at the end, when she counts me up, I want to just let that take me deeper into sleep. And then it will allow you to just go deeper into sleep because your mind knows what you're asking for. So are there any questions? I know I've been talking really fast and I can't believe how fast this time goes. So anybody have any questions about anything I've said so far? The reason I wanted you to come up with a word is because that word can be your pivot. When you get stressed, when you're out in the world, when you're hearing yourself say something about your sleeping problems or anything about that, or you're talking to somebody, you can hit pause somehow, take a breath, get back to your control center, you know, because usually we're all out here, right? We're all busy with life. And then it's like, come back here just with that one breath. Say your word. Let that be your pivot. Let that be your representation that's right. I got this project. And how can I say that differently? What do I really want to think and say that I want my unconscious to act on and help me with? Because you know what? Like I said, when you came out of the womb, we all knew how to sleep when we were tired. And it was very efficient. So all of this other stuff is learned. It's learned. Or it's, you know, it's because of stress and things like that. So it's the most natural thing in the world. And the sleeping aids that are out there. Most people know I love doctors and I love medicine when it's used the way it's supposed to, but sleep medicines can cause a lot of problems. They're not meant to be long-term, and people are using them that way. And unfortunately, they're also being prescribed them that way. And if you can do it without it, I mean, I had periodontal surgery with no anesthesia. So a lot of the chemicals that people have that they get given saying you need this aren't necessarily necessary long-term. So, you know, hypnosis has no bad side effects. It's all positive side effects. So I would encourage you to at least give it a shot. If you are on medication from a doctor, please don't tell the doctor I told you don't take them. I would never do that. You know, you always, if you're under a doctor's guidance, you always go to them and say, I'd like to start doing this hypnosis stuff or relaxation. And I'm wondering how that, you know, does that seem okay for you? You know, get it from them first. Okay. Would you like to go through a process, or would you like to just discuss some more about how to do some of these things on a more intellectual level? One of the things I tell my clients is as you're lying in bed, you know, hopefully, like I said, you don't watch the news and then try to go to sleep. That's probably not going to be very stress relieving. Not much good news on the news. But if you do, you know, soft music, if that's appropriate, you know, for you and whoever else might be around. But as you're going to sleep, you know, as we're going about our day, a lot of times we're so busy or we're in a hurry to get somewhere, and we might see something or experience something that we don't have time to stop and really fully enjoy. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I came out of my office one time and I was in a hurry to go meet my husband. And I came out of the office and turned the corner. It had been raining while I was in there. And when I turned the corner of the office to go to my car, there was this gorgeous double rainbow. And it was the most beautiful double rainbow. I didn't have time to stop. And, you know, I mean, it was beautiful, but I had to get in the car and go, right? So I tell my clients, I say something like that you couldn't take the luxury of time to really enjoy fully. Guess what, though? Your creative imagination, your unconscious has it recorded still. Very vividly, very, very specifically. So before you go to sleep at night, you could review your day. Like, your mind can work very quickly. And you could ask your mind as you go into that hypnoidal state, you know, you're still awake, but you're not quite going into sleep yet. And you can just ask your mind to review your day quickly and highlight all of the positive, happy, silly, goofy, interesting things that happened that day, and then hit pause, bring it back into your mind, and just hit pause and ponder it. Give yourself the time to actually appreciate it. And that's also a great time as you're getting ready to fall asleep tonight and in the nights to come, to start thinking of all the things that you can be grateful for. Gratitude has a healing properties that now science, I did one of these webinars on that a few months ago, and I did a lot of research on gratitude. I was amazed how much research and science they have showing that gratitude is powerful. It is so powerful for your organism, for your emotions, all of that, for your health all overall. So gratitude. One of the recommendations I have that I added to the handout this time, because I'm always changing and adding things, I can't help myself. I added in there too, if you wake up in the middle of the night, they always say, you know, do something, do this, do that. And I said, sit down and write a gratitude journal. You know, have a little journal that you can just write a few things that you're grateful for in your life, that you appreciate. And don't forget to be appreciative of yourself for learning some new methods to allow yourself to get a better night's sleep, as in being here today, right? You can say thank you to yourself. It's okay. And be gracious and accept that, and know that you appreciate being thanked. Your unconscious will thank you by giving you some results, see? So would you like to go through a process? It'll be a quick one. Anybody have
Okay.
Everybody okay with that? Now, those of you anybody here never been hypnotized before? It's a trick question, first of all. Anybody here never been hypnotized? Okay. One or two people. All I'm going to tell you is you have, because hypnosis is a normal, natural state. What was that? We go in and out of it all the time. You go through the hypnoidal state when you go to sleep. So you go through it at least twice a day when you go to sleep, and when you wake up, you go back through it again, right? Now that's, you know, something unintentional hypnosis. It's just natural. Being hypnotized is no different as far as the state. It's just that you're following instructions from a guide. And that's all I am, as a guide. I don't hypnotize anyone. I show them how to hypnotize themselves. So you can decide you don't want to do it. And guess what? Nothing I do is going to get you hypnotized. You have to do it for yourself. So since you're here, why not just enjoy a little experience? It will be a lot shorter intro. I'm not doing a full pre-talk, and I probably won't do a lot of the things that I would normally do with a client the first time. And guess what? Your mind still knows what you're doing here, and it's still listening, and it will still give you results. And if you carry on tomorrow and have your dominant thought be, you know what, I'm going to really make this a project for the next few weeks. And it will keep reminding it, because we move in the direction of our dominant thought. If you just make it a priority, when you first wake up is a good time to remind yourself and think of your word and say, this is what I'm going for. I want to be able to sleep and get to that place. And I'm learning how to do that now. I'm doing different things so that I can get back to that natural sleep and that healthy sleep. Okay, so I'm going to put some sounds on, if that's okay with everybody. And I might move a little quickly, but your unconscious can move very quickly, trust me. So get comfortable in whatever chair you're in. You don't have to be in a recliner or be lying down or anything. If you do lie down, you might fall asleep. So just let yourself relax a little bit into your position, knowing that the next few minutes are going to be not for the logical part of your mind, because it already knows what you're doing here, and it knows a lot of details about your interest in this topic. So whether you do or you don't have personally any kind of sleep challenges, this can be useful and helpful, because your mind knows how to apply the same principles that you learn here to anything in your life that is challenging you, to anything in your life that may be limiting you in some way. So let yourself relax. And it's nice to close your eyes only, because it kind of takes your awareness away from distractions that may be in the room. And if you hear sounds in the other parts of your place where you are there, that's fine. You may get distracted now and then. And if it's not something that truly requires your attention right now, you know that you can just let that go and bring your focus back to my voice and the sounds. And remember that sleep is a normal, natural thing. Your mind always knew how to sleep. It didn't have to be taught. Now you're just kind of remembering and reminding your inner self that you'd like to have some of that natural ability to sleep be part of your routine once again, like it was when you first started. So, assuming you have decided to make this a little 6-week project, the more focus you put on it, the more thought you put into it, the more things you do to help yourself to remember that this is important to you and will benefit you in ways that probably you can't even imagine yet. From now on, when you want to sleep, you may find that you can relax your body just like you're learning to do here today. And even if you have other ways in the past that you've relaxed your body, you can still have those things as part of your routine, your ritual. And here today, you can have some new ideas about all of that. Very soon, you'll discover that you're getting very good at relaxing your body. It'll get easier, and you'll be able to do it more quickly with every passing day, bit by bit, just by thinking about relaxing every part of you. So put your attention on your toes. They probably didn't get a lot of attention today. So give them all of your attention now. And notice that simply by thinking about your toes and thinking about relaxing your toes, it can cause those toes to start to relax all on their own. It doesn't take any effort. The more you put focus on various parts of your body, the more they continue to relax. And you may want to bring your word in from time to time to assist with that relaxation. So think about your feet now. And as you think about them, those feet can just start to relax all on their own, no effort needed. Just the thought, relax. Now think about your ankles and allow them to relax. And now that your mind understands what we're doing here, you can allow that relaxation to spread up into your legs and the muscles, the tendons, all of the parts of your legs can just begin to release and relax. Your hips can relax. Every part of your body now is already anticipating, receiving your attention. And that anticipation, it's already causing those parts of your body to relax even before you focus on them. Isn't that interesting? That's right. So now your waist, think about your waist and your stomach. You know, some people keep a lot of tension in their stomach. So with the next couple of inhales, focus on letting that stomach just, I know it isn't for us ladies, very ladylike, but just let that stomach go ahead and expand. Nobody will see it. And notice how that feels good to let that oxygen come deeply into your body. Because a lot of people breathe very shallowly. Maybe you notice your breathing's already beginning to slow down and relax now. So put your focus now on your shoulders, on your chest. Think about your back. And let the relaxation flow down your shoulders, down into your arms, all the way down to your fingertips. And now let the relaxation flow into your neck and your throat. Releasing and relaxing any unnecessary stress or tension, almost as if it might seem that any excess tension or stress is just melting away simply by you putting attention on that part of your body. So let it flow up through all the facial muscles now and all the way up the back of your head, all the way up to the top of your head so that your entire body can be as if it's draped in relaxation. And think of your word again. It's as if your thoughts being directed at a part of your body actually causes that part to immediately release, to immediately relax into comfort and peace. That's what happens. And every time you do this, it'll happen even more wonderfully. It'll compound. And the more you do it, the better it gets. So you may want to do this every day for those 6 weeks. It'll only take a few minutes. And who knows, you may fall asleep right in the middle of it. Wouldn't that be nice? Because now you're discovering how well you're able to relax each and every part of your body. And I think there really is no limit to relaxation. I've been practicing it for many years, and some of you may have been too. And it seems like you can always go just a little bit farther. So every time you do this, it becomes easier and more enjoyable. Knowing that you're allowing your body to relax and release unnecessary stress and tension. Enabling you to take on life's challenges with more focus and clarity by getting deep, rejuvenating sleep. So now you know that whenever you get ready to go to bed, to get some sleep, whether it's for a nap or to get a night's sleep, or if you sleep in the daytime, whenever you decide it's time for you to go to sleep and get that much needed rest for your mind, your body, for all of the aspects and elements that make you the unique person you are. Just as you're doing here now, you can imagine and just become aware of yourself going deeper into relaxation, moving down deeper and deeper into a peaceful, relaxed state, being soothed and comforted. The deeper you go, the safer you are, the freer your body is to perform, to function in the way it was designed to. So it's almost as if your body is thanking you now for giving it permission to do what it always needs to do, to let go of unnecessary stress and tension, things that there's nothing you can do about right now, and that you'll be so much more capable of dealing with and taking care of by enjoying letting it go for a space of time and getting that wonderful, deep, restful sleep. So think of your word once again that for you represents that peaceful, beautiful place. And ask your unconscious mind now to offer you a thought, an idea, and just keep yourself open and without putting anything there intentionally. Just ask your mind to give you one thing that your inner self knows for you specifically, unique for you, one thing that you can do immediately, one thing perhaps that you can change, maybe in a routine, maybe something you can add, or maybe something you can eliminate or take away. One thing that will begin to make a difference for you in being able to feel safe, secure, comfortable, and drift off to sleep more easily and effortlessly in the nights to come. You know now that you're able to relax your body. And if you already have some relaxing music or maybe a recording that you already use, and if not, you can contact me and I'll give you one that you can listen to, that will continue to train in the pathway for you to get to that beautiful, safe, deep sleep. And when it's time for you to awaken, you'll always awaken refreshed, alert, and ready to really focus and deal with everything in your life. If anything wakes you up before that time that you thought you wanted to wake up, you'll immediately know if it's something that needs your attention or that you really have to take care of. And if you do, sometimes you can take care of it and go right back to sleep easily. Other times you may have to stay up for a while. You always know you can adjust and adapt because that's what your mind and your body always does through your whole life. So you can watch and be curious and interested in the coming hours and days at the changes that are occurring in the direction of what you're asking your mind to do for you. And anytime you notice a little improvement, it would be nice to just thank yourself, to just take a breath for a moment and appreciate that you are doing something on purpose to be healthier, to be happier, to be more effective and productive. And that's a good thing because your organism is yours. It's your responsibility. And it deserves the respect of giving it the opportunity to sleep and to rest and to rebuild and rejuvenate and to process all of the incoming. That's right. So preparing to come back from this, knowing that the benefits will continue to expand behind the scenes in whatever way your mind knows is right for you. And you'll take off on whatever things you heard or thought about today. Maybe finding some unique, different ways to use some of these ideas. As I count from 1 to 5, bringing yourself back into awareness of your breathing, noticing if your stomach and your shoulders and all of the rest of your body seems to be a little bit more relaxed than you were before we started this process. 2, allow you to come up even more intentionally to 3. Isn't it nice to know that you can guide your experience simply by guiding your thoughts? That's a powerful thing to know. You're in charge of your thoughts, and your body and your mind will follow. So let your mind and body follow you up to 4, knowing that when I say the next number, that you'll be able to open your eyes, knowing that you've received far more than you're even aware of, and you can simply watch for the evidence that your mind is giving you interesting benefits from whatever you experienced here today. I'm going to turn off the sounds or I won't be able to come out of this experience. Did I say 5 yet? I sometimes forget. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Come on out. I might want to stretch a little. I really had to cut that short because, you know, I did go 5 minutes over, but we actually really started about 5 minutes late. So I apologize for that. But anyway, anybody needs to leave, I understand. Anybody that has questions, I'm willing to stay as long as you want me to and talk a little more. Or anybody want to share anything interesting or unexpected? That's when you know it's from your unconscious mind. If something came to you unexpected, weird, strange, bizarre, then you know you were in a good place. Because in hypnosis, bizarre is always a good thing. In my world, weird is always a good thing, but that's just me, maybe. Anybody got something they want to share? Something interesting? Yeah, how about Diana?
Yeah, I'm not sure how interesting this is, but yeah, I absolutely got, before you even did this, you know, you kept on saying sleep. I am so suggestible, but I was falling asleep from the very beginning. So I was like yawning here, you know, I was ready. But it's so interesting because I was really deep. And then I heard something, my daughters are in a living room and I thought one of them started choking or something. And it's funny how it switches on right away.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
your unconscious is, that's your inner protector. That's why I said if something important needs to be taken care of, it is going to get you up no matter how deep you go in sleep or in hypnosis. It's going to alert you to something important that, you know, that you need to take care of.
Yeah.
So did you have to, did you need to do it?
She was fine. I heard like so yeah. But my question is this for you. How many sessions do you typically do for sleep issues? Is it like
for most issues, I generally do a 3-session package. Mm-hmm. And usually for a lot of things, that's enough to get people to, if they're hopefully take off and do it on their own then, and they're able to do it themselves. Generally a 3-session package, but it just depends. There's no cookie cutter. So I would have to, you know, I interview everybody. But by the way, I like interruptions. When someone's in hypnosis, when I'm training, my students know, you probably know, Diane, I will, if I'm doing live trainings, which I'm starting to do again now, I will, if it's too calm and quiet all the time, I will literally create an interruption. Yeah. Maybe not that, but I will. I'll drop something in the next room or I'll do something because I want to see how they handle it. And guess what? When you had that happen, I'll bet you came right back, right? Well, you're trained though, so you've got training in hypnosis. But anybody will. The only thing that keeps you from going right back is not believing that it's possible for you to go right back. So, you know, you just tell yourself, if I get interrupted with sleep or hypnosis, if I have to take care of it, even if I got to get up and go do it, I'll just go right back. If it's a recording or if it's a hypnosis session, I've had people have coughing fits during a session. I always think that stuff's a release, though. I think of that as, that's the way I like to think of it. But yeah, I think interruptions are good at practicing how to just go right back. So that was a good opportunity for you to prove to yourself again. You probably already knew you could.
But it was interesting that I could be in this one place, but I could also be in the other place, sort of like a split.
Yeah,
you know,
very
I was
good.
still here, but I was paying attention at the same time. And then like you said, went back.
Very nice. And had you had to go take care of that, you would have been able to, and you would have been, actually, I always think, you know, if you get interrupted and you really do have to go do something, if you're in really good sleep, or if you're in a good hypnotic state, you actually would be more efficient, more focused than you ever are, because you've cleared all the clutter, right?
You know what's actually interesting also, before she started having that coughing, which I thought she was, I had a vision of her out of nowhere, of some kind of uncomfortable situation just before. So I sort of picked up on that before that started. So that was actually interesting too. And I was like, why is this coming to me? And then it was something else, but it was like not a good scenario. You know what I mean?
That's interesting, because I do believe that doing this work definitely enhances your, if you want to call it psychic abilities, or your intuitive abilities, or whatever word works for you guys. You know, it really develops your creative mind, and that's where all of those, it allows us to be more tuned in to everything, and it really does do that. And Diane, I was getting a kick out of Diane. You were just yawning like crazy.
Yes. By the way, all the hand waving, I'm assisting my instructor by providing a break state.
Thank you. Break state, yes. It's a hypnotic term, yes. I like break states. Very
well,
good.
Anybody that really finds that they can use this as an augmentation to their work really should take a class, you know, a training with Patty, because she's wonderful.
I'll give you some money later. Yeah. No,
automatically.
Well, like I said, my first hypnosis training, I got certified in California. I was still in show business. I had no intention of becoming a hypnotist. I just had been doing it for so many years, and I had fixed a back injury. I'd done all kinds of stuff and used it for memory and stuff. And when I got certified, I was just learning more for myself. It was for me. But within a year, the universe had other ideas, and here I am 30 years later. It's gone by like that.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have to jump off of here. But
okay, Daniel, thank you. Yeah, please don't feel like it. I appreciate you all staying. But anybody else want to share anything or ask any questions? Or okay, if you'd like to have that recording and the handouts, just email me at uphypnosis@yahoo.com or uphypnosis@outlook.com. Either one will get it to me. And I hope those of you that are hypnotists will consider coming for $5 to the wonderful April 23rd Saturday conference at the Marriott in Oldsmar. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
I'm available if anybody wants to talk anymore.
Thank you, Patricia.
Okay, take care. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.